Okay, so today we're going to talk about my Hex Coin investing strategy. So Hex token, Hex Coin is technically an ERC20 token. I'm going to be talking about my strategy here in a moment, but if you're watching this on LBRY, just know that you're watching this probably about a week earlier than everyone else. If you're watching it on YouTube, then you're watching it a week later. If you want to get content fast, you want to get content first, go down in the description. Make sure you click on the LBRY platform. Come join LBRY. It's basically a decentralized YouTube, and there is a tremendous amount of cryptocurrency content right here on the LBRY platform. All right, let's talk about Hex Coin. So this is the AA Lobby. I'm going to be showing you my investing strategy with Hex. Now, here's the thing with me. What you'll know is, if you've watched my channel at all, I'm neither a Hex fanboy or, I've never been one of those guys that, thought Hex was a scam. I mean, Richard Hart, people, in fact, there's only one thing that I really don't like about Hex. And it just bugs me a little bit. And that's basically the recycling of Ethereum. And I understand the fanboys are going to tell you why it's great. And I can already make an argument for why it's good. Plenty of people are going to tell you the price is going to crash. I can make that argument as well. Some people say the price isn't going to crash. I can make that argument as well. The reality is, I don't know what's going to happen. I wish it wasn't taking place, but it doesn't matter that it is taking place. And if you still doubt that Ethereum is getting recycled, if you're one of those people like, it's not getting recycled, that's just a rumor, bull crap, you can go take a look at my video. I'll put it above. You can go watch my video on YouTube. It'll be in the cards. You can go watch that video where I actually follow the blockchain and show you specific proof where it doesn't go through an exchange. It literally goes in a one big circle. It's not even that big of a circle, right back into the address, the flush address or whatever. But anyway, with that being said, Hex has done, 50x or whatever. And I didn't get into Hex initially. One of the things that I liked about Hex is I like the game theory aspect of it. And now, because a part of what I showed you in that video and one of the graphs that were that was in the video, I'm not so certain that the game theory is working yet. But there's this thing called a Big Payday. There's two things that made me think that Hex has a lot of upside potential, and it's why I'm investing in it. So that's important for you to understand. Well, why would you invest in it? I mean, you missed a big run up, blah, blah, blah. Well, first of all, the only reason I missed a big run up is because it shot up like a freaking rocket. I mean, that's unreal. And those of you that call that way to freaking go, congratulations for jumping in early. So many of us get into projects. Some work, some don't. And take some profit. I mean, if you make 50x, take some profit. Don't be greedy. But I still think there's a potential. This is just my opinion, that this is an investing advice for you. So don't take my investing advice. I would have cost you 50x if you'd have followed my lead. So, but for me, I still see some potential upside here for a few reasons. One is, it looks like we might be going into a bull market. In a bull market, everything goes up. Altcoins can potentially go up much more than Bitcoin in a bull market. Plus, Richard Hart has an ego to size of Texas or bigger. And that's awesome for the project because he doesn't want it to fail. He's uber competitive, and that's good. And that may be part of the, some people say that the recycling was always intended. I haven't actually seen proof of that. But I do believe it's part of why he did the recycling. I can, again, justify why it's acceptable, and I can also see why it's not acceptable. The problem is most people can't think objectively. So my investing strategy is trying to be objective, recognizing there's some upside here still, some great upside. In fact, I've made money since I've been in Hex. I'll be cashing out here in a few days on some of it, on one of my stakes. And so my strategy is recognizing that, hey, in some ways, this isn't the project that I would like it to be, but in other ways, it's everything I would like it to be. I mean, Hex is a complete project. There's no future development. That's one thing that you got to say about Richard Hart that is absolutely correct. When this thing went out, he said exactly how the contract worked. He talked all about it. Now, there's some parts that he didn't highlight. He didn't highlight the bonuses. He didn't highlight the fact that he was, no matter what, he was going to have 50% more of the Hex, that it was going to be highly centralized to him. He didn't highlight that part. He hasn't denied it either. Do you understand? So again, if you're watching this video pisses everybody off because the fanboys can't stand it that I'm not just harping about how amazing Hex is, and the guys who hate Hex can't stand the fact that I'm calling it an absolute scam. Nightly Crypto does a video over there, and he's the one which all his content, for whatever reason, is currently off of his channel, or he has it all set to private, but he does a video over there and that's where I actually followed the trail. He laid out the trail perfectly, and I was able to recreate it on my video about the Ethereum getting recycled. But then he's like, if you're in Hex and it's, Ethereum's getting recycled, then, basically you're a horrible person and blah, blah, blah. And then people show up, they can't think for themselves. They parrot what he says, and they come down in my comments and they say the same thing. Go worry about you. Just worry about you. The reality is, whether something is, it's just like penny stock trading. I know a very successful penny stock investor. He absolutely buys penny stocks and shorts them and buys them, even though he knows that they're pump and dumps. Why? Because they're thin markets. They're very thin markets. So you can get in if you know something's going to pump because it's going to get a lot of promotion. You can get in it, and in the middle of that promotion, you get out of it, you turn a profit. Likewise, if something's run up, you can short it. Now, you can't short Hex. At least no way that I'm aware of. But what you can do is recognize that, hey, there's a possibility that it can come down, just like Richard Hart says, by 95% or more. Just like every other cryptocurrency. He says that. So I think it's important to invest with that understanding. Full well with that understanding. And if you've made 50x profit, you've got to take some profit off the table. I don't care if you put $100 in and now it's $5,200. At least take you $200 or $300 out or something, man. Don't hold on to that for the end of time. You're going to eventually possibly get screwed. All right, with that being said, and by the way, you need to understand that whether or not, there's a couple things you need to know that about, and I'll get to my full strategy here in a minute, but understand that this logic is how I invest, because I know that any of this can happen. First of all, it is possible, and I've said this from the beginning, that Richard Hart could be under some sort of investigation. He tries to say that he's squeaky clean because it's a smart contract and you don't buy the tokens, you mint the tokens yourself through the software, blah, blah, blah. That is, he could be exactly right about that. All that could be exactly right. But I've been around long enough to recognize that when people start making 50x profits, then there's a lot of jealousy that exists. All someone has to do is complain. All they have to do is come under investigation. And that's bad enough potentially for Hex. All they have to do is detain Richard Hart for any reason, question him for a few days, and if the recycling doesn't take place, if that is still the primary thing moving the price, and I don't know today if that's still the same thing. It was over 95% previously, so I assume there's a certain percent of recycling that still exists. However, neither here nor there. All that has to happen is Richard Hart get taken away for a couple of days, for a few days, even if he's determined to be squeaky clean, if he's that focused on recycling the price, because that affects supply and demand of the token. That absolutely affects price. Sometimes people forget to, they miss that, but neither here nor there. I'm going to get in today, and I'm going to show you how I'm getting in, and I'm even going to talk about my full staking strategy on what I'm doing, recognizing that there's still some potential upside here, and maybe, who knows, maybe a lot of upside, but there's also a tremendous amount of downside. So I've already missed out on the big move because I was waiting to see if the game theory is going to prove itself, and it just freaking exploded. I should have done like a buddy of mine. He felt the same way I did, but he took a flyer. He just threw in a few dollars. I think it's a couple $100 for him. He just threw it in there, and it just exploded. He had no idea it had even 50x until I told him. I was like, have you seen your Hex investment? And he's like, holy crap. Yep. Good job. So hindsight's 20/20, but I still think there's some upside potential. So what do? Here's what I'm doing. I'm dollar cost averaging about once a month right now. Probably going to just drop in about $50 for now. And I'm going to take profits based on a certain strategy, and I'm going to stake based on a certain strategy. So I'll go ahead and show you how to buy Hex. If you don't know how to use the AA Lobby, I'll just show you how that works. You basically come over here. First of all, here's what I do. I come over here to Coin Paprika. I figure out about how much is $50 US today. And it's 0.235 roughly. I get it around $49 to $50. And then I come over here. Oh, hang on. I gotta grab a link. Let me pause the video real quick. All right. So hopefully I've got this. Is it running? Yep. So hopefully I got this link set up properly. But I'm hoping that went through right. Anyway, so hang on. Maybe it's because I'm not. I am. Okay. So I got. If you use a referral link, you get 10% more Hex, and the person who referred you gets 20%. I used a referral link of one of my viewers and subscribers, and you can I'll put my link down below if you would like to use it and get 10% more Hex. But here's all you do. You come to the AA Lobby. We're up to 11,000 Ethereum. So here's what's important for you to understand. Why is the price going up? Because down here it was hundreds in a single day. So here's what happens. You enter in Ethereum. And whatever you enter in, this amount of hex is split among all of this Ethereum at the end of the day in 4 hours and 9 minutes. That's how it works. It's called the adoption amplifier. Every day there's 511 million hex distributed among however much ETH comes in. So, by the way, since I made that small investment here, it's going up quite a bit. So here's what I do. Enter. How much ETH? Was it 0.235? Now I gotta. Yep, 0.235. 0.235. Enter. Confirm. Okay. So now when this confirms, it will show up here and you'll see an exit. I'll go ahead and pause the video just so you can wait for that. Okay, there we go. So here's my 0.235 ETH. When this thing runs out, it'll say exit. I may have said that wrong earlier. When it runs out, after 4 hours, 8 minutes, and some seconds, it will say exit. Then you hit exit, and then at that point in time, you'll have your Ethereum. You'll have your hex, and you'll have whatever percentage. Again, it's the total ETH divided into the total amount of hex, and you'll have whatever amount of hex you have. Now, what I do is then you come over here to staking, and you stake it. The way that I stake mine, as you can see, I got some stakes running here. Because I know that the future of hex, I'm uncertain. There's a lot of things. I can see it going up. I can see it going down. I don't really know. And a lot of people talk about the big payday. So the big payday, I thought it would tell you exactly what it was. The big payday is basically when we hit 350 days, that's going to be the big payday. And the big payday is basically you get a massive bonus if you have stakes that are active, then based off of all the people who've canceled and you know, they basically in-staked. There's all these bonuses, a lot of bonuses, and there's going to be a tremendous amount of hex rewarded on that day. So a lot of people stake way out. In fact, I'll show you this right here. Consider this like months. A lot of people stake way out here to like 400 or 350 or whatever, because if there's any cancellations or whatever, they want to get all those rewarded hex, and that's assuming that hex is going to keep going up and not go down from where it's at today, or all the hex that you get, even if the individual hex price goes down, the amount of hex that you get is going to still allow you to have more value in Ethereum or, you know, USD. But my thought is I'm less certain. I'm less confident about hex, but I still want to be able to benefit. So here's my strategy. As you'll notice, I have about every 15 days. I started out, I think, about 45 days out, 142. Yeah, about 45 days out I started. And after 45 days out, every 15 days, I have another stake. And so it's like the idea originally was for like the 1st and the 15th of the month, kind of like a payday, a paycheck. The problem with that is, you know, it's a pain in the butt to calculate how many days that is out. So I just started doing every 15 days, which is roughly twice a month, every 15 days. And I started doing the earlier stakes first. I went out 45 days. So technically I started in the 2nd month, but basically 2 stakes a month. And I'm doing small stakes. I'm doing, you know, I'm coming in with about $50 a month. I'm doing small stakes, about $10 a stake. And there's a reason why I'm doing about $10 a stake, $10 USD, because I want to be able to see when my stake matures, how much I've earned. And so I'm starting near term like this, and I'm going all the way out, and I'll go past the big payday. I'm going to go out probably a year, maybe a year and another quarter first, just to see how it's going to go. And then what I'm going to do is once I get that done, I'll start coming back around and I'll start doing more. I'll double up on my stakes. So like with profits from the earlier stakes or something, I'll start, which technically when I start withdrawing profits, let's say it's in this month right here, technically. It's in this month right here. Sorry. These months, all of a sudden I get my first in stake, this one down here. What I'll do, let's just say that it's, you know, $15. Well, I can do any number of things. Maybe I just, you know, take $5 in hex profit or crypto profit, and then I'll double up. I'll add another stake for this time period, and then then all of a sudden this will come due. Maybe that one's, you know, $20. Well, I'll keep $10 and I'll put another $10 here, and just double up. Now, what if, and I'll know every time there's an end stake that I'll know, okay, these stakes are now worth $20. So whatever they're worth when they end stake, I'll know that's my profit. Now, what if it's lower? If it's like, this was, $20 worth of stakes, but all of a sudden I only got $15. Well, that's fine. I make a decision. Do I want to keep all that, or do I want to let it ride down the road? I'll make that decision when each stake comes due based on the information that we have available, how Hex is doing, what's going on with the project, what's Richard Hart talking about, what's the community overall sentiment, what's going on. And I'll have a chance twice a month to be able to reevaluate that as my stakes start coming through. So I'm going to wait until today, but just so you know, what I do is I just come back to Coin Paprika, I go to Hex, and in that moment, before I make by the way, as you can see, all the green, this is what's so beautiful about Hex right now. So I'll come over here and I'm looking for this is just me, $10 stakes. Why? Because it's just a flyer. I know it can fall by 95%. It may go up. If it goes up, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm not trying to knock a home run here. I'm just trying to make a little bit along the way. So what I'll do is you come here, roughly $10 USD, 2,400 Hex. That's it. 2,400 Hex. That's crazy to think about. 2,400 Hex. The other stake I got was 35, so that tells you how much it's going up. Crazy town, 3% in the past hour. That's why I'm willing to get into Hex, because I think there's a chance to be able to continue to earn some profit there. So that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna be bringing in, and that's where I'm at right now. I may actually come in with about $100 a month and just start, because especially as I start pulling my stakes off. You start pulling your stakes off, you start making some profit, then maybe I'll put a little more. If I make, $20, $30 worth on that next, which this one's going to end stake 11,005. Let's see if that was an end stake today, where we'd be at. Yeah, see, that's awesome. In this case, if at that end stake today, I'd probably just pull it off $20 and take the other, 27 and just keep it. Or run, I'll probably take 27, keep it, put $20 on another stake down the road, or another 2 stakes down the road, something like that. That's just kind of my strategy. And it's be right if you're wrong. If it goes to crap, so what? If it skyrockets, great. I get to ride the rocket as well. I'm not trying to knock a home run. Just make a little crypto along the way, baby. That's it. Just make a little crypto. And don't get so worried about what other people are doing. Don't go FOMO crazy. You gotta be balanced. You gotta be balanced. For every project that someone's FOMO'd in, for every winner, they've probably had several losers. And some people never hit the winners, but there's so much opportunity in crypto, so many things going on in crypto. It's just awesome. And this is just my side thing. What's my main thing? My main thing is my affiliate business, promoting passive crypto streams. My crypto passive profit strategy newsletter down in the description. That's part of my main thing. The three phase plan, the second video. I mean, that we're teaching about growing, building business, teaching others to build business, working together, like helping brand new people create a true cryptocurrency business. Not this sort of stuff. This is like, higher risk investing. This isn't the main thing that I teach people or whatever, but it's what I'm doing. It's a part of it. It's great content. The Hex community, and we haven't had a passionate community in crypto like the Hex community really in a long time. Probably Proof of Week hands, but they paled in comparison to the size of the Hex community, and they are freaking passionate. People think it's going to the moon. It's going to take off. It's going to do whatever they think it's going to do. And that's awesome. It's not a bad thing. It's what makes crypto go round. But unfortunately, if it does go down, and I mean, people are going to be hurt because people just can't create some sort of a balanced approach. I encourage you, do your best to be balanced. Take some profits off the table, people. Take some profits off the table. Don't put crypto. Everybody's got trust in Richard Hart. Listen, crypto is about trust in yourself. It's not trust in any one person. It's decentralized. The moment you start putting trust in your leader, that's the moment that you're creating a centralized authority in your life. No, be balanced. Try to be fair. Be fair-minded. Try to be objective. It's hard. We're all, we all have investors biased. All of us. 100% all of us. All right. That's what I got for you today. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments on YouTube when it goes live on YouTube. Those of you who have watched this video on the LBRY platform, I appreciate you supporting me over on the LBRY platform. It is awesome. If you want to learn how to earn passive crypto, if you want to actually start a cryptocurrency passive income business, subscribe to our Crypto Passive Profits newsletter down in the description. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, crypto equals freedom, crypto wealth. I'm out.